Well, welcome again to the Rollins Reviews YouTube channel. We are continuing our series, Our Voices from the Jim Crow era, where we are talking to people who actually lived through these experiences. I am learning so much. Obviously, some of you, welcome to everyone in the chat. Some of you, like myself, are not old enough to have actually, lived through segregation, and then of course desegregation, having to use separate unequal facilities such as water fountains, such as movie theaters, bathrooms. If you were traveling, you did not have the opportunity to stay at a hotel or a motel. And I've looked at several documentaries on these situations, and it's so sad. Some of the African Americans were saying that they would have to sleep in their cars, and of course that was dangerous in itself. So just listening to some of these experiences is heart-wrenching. And then when you actually talk to people who lived during those times, that my heart really goes out to these people. They're my heroes. How you doing, Dan? So today,
I'm good, very good, thank you.
Right. So today, let's welcome our next guest in the series, as he talks about some of his experiences and how he was able to handle those experiences. Go ahead, Mr. Joyner.
Yes, when I was growing up, it was in an integrated neighborhood.
Where were you born?
I was
Tell us.
born in Guilford County, High Point, North Carolina.
Okay.
Into a integrated neighborhood. It was already more or less half and half. Both my neighbors on either side were Caucasian.
Right.
In my particular neighborhood, none of the neighbors or whatever ever heard. I never heard the word nigger
Right.
mentioned
Right.
because, and like I said, in my particular neighborhood, it was like 50-50.
Right.
And the people that lived there, I don't guess the Caucasians, they were nice.
Right.
I don't guess they wanted to go do what was going on, but they had to go along to get along.
Right.
I didn't really get into much segregated stuff until like middle school, and then I started to notice
Right.
the difference in the facilities and the treatment.
Mr.
Of,
Joyner, if I could ask you a question, and please, those of you who are in the comment section, please feel free to ask any questions. That's why Mr. Joyner, he is here to try and respond to that. But I do have one question. Did your parents tell you, before, when you started to come of age, obviously you have eyeballs, so you can see the signs, okay, white, colored. Did your parents warn you, make sure, you use how you doing, Donna? That you use the colored, don't make waves, don't cause trouble. It's a dangerous situation if you try to break these Jim Crow laws. Were you warned by your parents or other relatives?
no, I wasn't warned. I guess it was more or less instilled in me.
Okay.
Listening to them saying I had to go to the colored bathroom, I had to use the colored water fountain. So it grew up in me that that's what I had to do. You know, I was never put into a situation wherein it was a do or die situation or any unusual circumstances.
Did you feel that it was wrong, or since it was instilled in
I
you, you
felt
just
that yes, very much so.
okay,
Uh,
okay.
but there was very little that I felt at that time that I could do,
Right,
to remedy the situation.
right.
But at that early age, saying 14, 15, I knew that it wasn't kosher, so to speak.
Right.
I didn't like it because, like I said, both sides of my neighbors are Caucasian,
Right.
and Miss Briggs, she was a Caucasian, and her son and I played just like we were brothers. There was no difference, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you
I know,
notice?
and once she said her son Johnny and I were buddies, and we
Right.
were sitting on a log in the rear of her house,
Right.
and it was in the summertime with no shirts and whatever.
Right.
She said she came home, she couldn't tell who was who. And
Wow.
yeah, she said she laughed about that. She said, "I didn't know who was who was colored or white." She said her son had such a tan,
Oh, okay.
and I
Okay.
had, I'm already black, you know. And she said I couldn't tell who was who, you know.
That's so sad that, children don't care. And of course, they have to be taught to hate because children do not, if you watch, children in school, young children, they're just playing. They could care
They don't
less.
know, yeah,
That's the
they don't know
sad
the
part
difference.
about it. So did you ever see, instances I mean, blatant racism, or did you ever see, anyone who was, abused or beaten by the police just because of their race? So what did we
No,
want
I
to
didn't.
find out what you witnessed.
I never witnessed any police brutality.
Okay.
I never witnessed any of that. And as a matter of fact, I think there's very little of. I don't think there was much of that around the area at that time, in the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you participate in the the freedom rides, and the movement was really, it started, of course, with the death of Emmett Till, and then Rosa Parks, of course, refusing to give up her seat. So did
Exactly.
you participate in any kind of way, particularly since you were very close to Greensboro, where the North Carolina A&T State University
Like I said, by that time, 50s,
station is
60s,
sitting?
I had left North Carolina,
Okay. Okay.
and we participated with money and things like that.
Okay.
I wasn't actively engaged in
Okay.
I had
Anyone in the comment section, would anyone like to ask Mr. Joyner any questions? Particularly those of you like myself who are not old enough to have experienced those types of denigrating situations. Oh, I have a question for you, Mr. Joyner. This is from Catherine with Friends. She wants to know if your family is descended from Africa. I think that's the question. She asked if your family descended from Africa. So have you done any
very little
family?
research. I am in the process now of researching my roots.
Okay. Okay. Did that answer your question, Catherine? Donna wants to know, do you see a change today? We know what you had to withstand in the segregated South before you were part, of course, of the Great Migration, African Americans who moved, to the North and West and Midwest. So Donna wants to know if you see a change today.
I see a different form of segregation.
Right.
It's
What way?
it's in the DNA of the system.
Okay.
Now, if you will think about what I'm saying, and if you're a reader or a listener of the news, you see these different laws that's being passed or being acted upon, different ordinances. Uh, it's the same thing as back in the 50s, 40s, and 50s, 60s. It's in a different form today.
Okay. Okay.
They are when I say they, and I say they, I mean the system. Are still people within the system that would like to see
right.
Black people, so to speak, in their place. This is my place.
Okay. Okay.
You put me here.
Right.
Now deal with me. So
Right.
any obstacle that you put in my way, I have a right to go over, around it, or under it to achieve my objective.
Right. Right. Okay.
But
Did
I
that
am not
answer your
the type of
question, Don?
person to sit and whine and say, "Well, I can't do it because they has never stopped me from doing anything that I wanted to do. Only I have stopped myself from doing what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
They hasn't stopped me from doing anything that I wanted to do."
Right. That's a very good point that you make, Mr. Joyner, because that's something I often tell my students, you know. But I mean, and if you look, especially with their generation, there are too many programs. They're begging people to go to school. They're giving money to people to go to school. So, and I look at, and that's why I do so many videos, so much content creation on African Americans, you know, that, unheard of, you know, doctors, researchers, inventors, no one's ever heard of.
They
And I'm
have,
like, if they could do what they did during those, you know, times,
this should be
you
a
know,
piece of cake for them today.
right. And
A piece of cake
that's
for
my
them
point.
today. Yes.
There's another question for you here.
Go ahead.
Daniel says, how do you feel about them changing Aunt Jemima's logo on her syrup? Good question, Daniel. Mr. Joyner, did you hear that?
I heard that. I heard that. Another dollar sign. That's all it was. That's what it was. Any time a big conglomerate or corporation can use any color, race, creed, or color, fat, skinny, black, white, red, or yellow, to make a dollar, they will do it. And this has been going on for generations.
Right.
So give it up. Get another patsy.
Right. Okay. I hope that answered your question, Daniel. Folks, please hit the like button, share this stream out so we can get some more people to join and add to the conversation. Donna has a question. How do you feel about she said, how did you feel about the military? Then we know that you are a U.S. Army veteran. So what are your thoughts? What did you experience when you were in the military?
I experienced good time. It was good for me because I accomplished what I went in for.
Okay.
Thank God I didn't have to shoot anyone or anyone had to shoot me.
Right.
I went in and I finished finished my high school diploma there.
Right.
And I wanted to travel, and then that's what I did. I saw the Berlin Wall all over Europe, Paris, France, whatever.
Wow.
And that was a plus for me. And I was treated like a person, not a color. And when I got back here, it was all together different. It was so much different.
So
Thank you for defending your country and blah, blah, blah. And I get back here and I'm treated like blank.
Yeah. A lot of African-American military people said that. I'm sorry, I missed a question from Vicky Council. She just posted. Let me throw this question at you, Mr. Joyner. She says, I know those times were terrible and God bless you. Do you feel the way the world is going now, is it showing reflection on the direction we're going now? That's from Vicky Council. She wants to know, what are your thoughts on where we're headed now?
I can say this, check your history. Every 100 years, 150 years, the earth cleanses itself, and you're going to have uproar, turmoil. Every 100 years or every 150 years, you're going to have it. Check your history.
Right.
This is a phase that we are going through now.
Okay. All right. I hope that answered your question, Vicky. Also, now, getting back to what you said, again, you know, I've done a couple of videos as African Americans in the U.S. military. And no problem, Vicky. So again, now most African American males said when they went overseas, they were treated like human beings. So you were over there for the ones who were fighting for freedom and rights that you didn't have, and then you came back to your own country and were treated like dirt. Those are the words that some of them stated in some of my readings. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's true. Heck, because I was trained in a military supply, and I came back to the Navy Yard. I wanted to get a job in the Navy Yard here in Philadelphia supply. You don't have the experience. I had 2.5 years experience in military supply. How much more supply do you want? I ran supply point 5. We supplied the whole Western Area Command of Germany, and I was in charge of supply point 5. Everything that went out went through me. And you're going to tell me I come back here and then I don't have the experience?
Right. Okay. There's another question.
But see, like I said, that didn't stop me from I didn't sit and whine about it.
Right.
I went out and worked. I didn't go on welfare.
Right. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another question for you, Mr. Joyner. This is from Shelley. What do you think about these civil rights leaders who haven't accomplished much since, of course, Dr. King was assassinated in April of 1968?
You see, Dr. King did not wait until something happened socially, killings or murders or whatever, to act and to be active.
Right.
The leaders that we have today, they sit back and wait until 25 blacks are killed or slaughtered or something drastically happens, and then they come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you now? We need you now. This nation is in a turmoil. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just be thankful for what you have, not
right.
what you're going to get or what you had. If you have adequate financial standings now and a roof over your head, food in the refrigerator, and a raggedy car, be thankful for that, because God knows there are others in the woodwork that don't want you to have that.
Another question for you, Mr. Joyner. This is from Kevin. When you came back, meaning when you came back to America from overseas, when you were in the military, did any GI Bills or VA programs like that work for you? Because we know that's a very good question, Kevin. We know Caucasian wealth was built starting when World War II was over, and they started giving away the GI Bills, and they had all these built all the.
Levittown, New York was built on the GI Bill.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Read the history. Levittown, New York was built on the GI Bill.
Not for African Americans.
For all Caucasians.
Yeah, Levittown, Pennsylvania, everywhere.
Yeah, I benefited from the GI Bill. I went to the diesel mechanic school in New York.
Okay.
Roberts Technical and Trade School in New York.
Okay. There's another question for you, Mr. Joyner. This is from Shelley. They don't follow through with holding them account pure. Oh, that was just a statement. She was agreeing with something. So that was a very good question, Kevin, because I was reading, people are talking about where we are now, financially speaking, and a lot of people, again, don't do research, and they don't realize wealth is primarily passed through not with just land, but with home ownership. Yeah. And remember, we were locked out. We weren't allowed because of redlining. I'm going to do a video on that one day, folks. Okay. There's another question for you from Donna. What keeps you so handsome?
I got it like that.
Donna, did you hear that?
My ancestors were handsome.
Okay, Donna, I guess you heard that answer. And she just wants to know what you do in your spare time, Mr. Joyner.
Whoa. That's a surprise question. I read and watch TV a little bit and read mostly, and
right.
try to help other people, as I go
Daniel
along.
McKinley, a former student, says, "Thank you for your service to this country and helping to keep our country free."
Thank you for asking and for thanking me.
Hey, anyone else have any questions for Mr. Joyner? I know he's busy. I don't want to take up too much more of his time. Those of you who are here for the first time, we're continuing our series on our voices from the Jim Crow era. So far, the videos that you've been a part of, we've talked about some of their Jim Crow experiences. We're also going to start talking about when African Americans started to leave the South. We know why. I did a video on that. Look at the Great Migration. If you haven't seen it, excellent video that explains all the reasons why we were leaving the South. So we were leaving, looking for better job opportunities, wanting to be treated like human beings. But unfortunately, we found out, well, it was pretty much the same situation. Okay.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Janice? Catherine says, "God bless you, Mr. Joyner." If no one else has any questions for Mr. Joyner, I'll let him take the rest of his day to relax since he is a Army veteran. Okay, he deserves it. Chef, how you doing, partner? Chef Honest One is here. Shelly has a question for you, Mr. Joyner. Do you think our athletes and entertainers are joking, clowning, singing, and dancing too much while not paying attention to all the setback for Black people? That's a good question, Shelly.
It's a good question, but I remember when Black entertainers, especially females, think back, look back and read, did not have to take their clothes off to entertain you. They had talent. Talent, people, listen to what I'm saying. Most entertainers, female today, most, I'm not saying all, take half their clothes stripped, half down, half naked, and shaken, and showing their bodies instead of showing their talent. Does that answer your question?
Did that answer your question? And I agree, Mr. Joyner, you're telling the truth. But if you don't have any talent, that's when you have to do something else. So
look back to your ancestries: Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Nina Simone, Billie Holiday. None of these ladies exposed themselves.
They didn't have to.
They had talent.
Yeah.
Look at the Super Bowl is coming up in a couple of hours. Watch that. Look at the nudity on there. Not that I'm I'm a man. You can watch it and do whatever you want to do. But that's just raw nudity they're selling. Is what they're selling.
Because they don't have any talent.
That's what I'm saying. They're letting their bodies do the talking instead of their talent.
Exactly. He's telling the truth. We can't argue with the truth. He's giving the truth. Okay. Anyone else have any more questions for Mr. Joyner? If not, or if you think of questions once we've ended the stream, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Your questions will be answered. I promise. Okay. So again, I don't want to take up, everyone's trying to get ready for the Super Bowl. I think I don't know what time it is because I'm not watching it. My team's not playing. So, Mr. Joyner, we would like to take this time to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to tell us about some of your Jim Crow experiences And we look forward to talking to you again. Again, I want to talk to you as well as all the other participants, which we are going to have some more. One more question for you, Mr. Joyner.
Sure.
Chef Finest Wine said, who do you look up to? In other words, who do you admire?
Ooh, who is there to admire? I mean, you know, you have.
Well, maybe we should say, who did you? Past tense, because I'm with you these days.
These days, there's not much. The only persons out there that out for the almighty dollar is not for them or not for you. I really, you know, don't have anyone that I, you know, the people that I really admired, kind of looked up to was Dr. King and
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X, yes.
Yeah.
The senator that's passed, what's his name?
Right.
In Georgia.
Oh, the one that just passed.
John Lewis.
John Lewis. That's him.
Yeah. These are the people that bore the burden years ago, you know.
Those are my heroes, because they really went through. Like I said, you said earlier, they were proactive.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas the people now, they wait for something bad to happen, and then
they come out of the woodwork. Yeah.
So, let's see. Chef Finest Wine, could you take care of Shelly? Shelly, oh my goodness. Chef is going to help me with that, Shelly. So again, thank you again. Thank you, Chef. Those of you who are interested, please, if you're not, please share out the streams. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We will be doing more for Black History. And those of you who've been on my channel for a while, you know, I do Black History all year long, not just February. So thank you. Those of you who are here, thank you, Chef. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come to the Roland's Reviews YouTube channel. Thank you, Chef. And contribute to the conversation. And that's all we're trying to do here is enlighten. People won't read like they should. So I'm trying to get the information out.
Especially us.
Especially.
Somebody said, read and be proof for yourself.
That's right.
Read and research.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I agree.
If you have time, a half hour on Facebook, you can spend an hour on reading or
Thank you.
Research.
Catherine in the chat, we were talking last night. She's on the order some books from Amazon. I have a gazillion books I've ordered from Amazon. We were just talking about that last night. And people don't want to read anymore. So that, you know, people, you can be waylaid and bamboozled and you won't have a clue because you won't pick up a book and read. So
yes. Yeah.
So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Please, thank you for spending time with the Roland's Reviews YouTube channel, and we will see you next Sunday. And my partner and I, Chef Finest Wine, we're not going to tell you, but we have our next celebrity interview lined up. We're not going to tell you who it is. All right, so we're going to let you think about that a moment, okay? So we hope to see you here next Sunday. Enjoy your week and please be safe.
Thank you.